Since the invention of the automobile, limits on what is possible have always been set, only to be tested and then broken. Auto racing has been around since the advent of the car itself. While at the pinnacle of racing this scale is nothing short of grandiose, locally a stock car team has been grabbing headlines. Double Nickel 9 Motorsports, formerly known as Kreider Kramer Racing, founded by Rob Kreider and Keith Kramer, have been steadily gaining notoriety from winning multiple races as well as appearances of several TV shows. Despite all of these accolades, one thing has consistently eluded them: the National Auto Sport Association Championship. Prior to this year's championship, we met Rob Kreider driving of the number 38 car and Keith Kramer, driver of the number 33 car, to discuss the big race as well as their careers up to this point.
I got started in racing about 8 years ago because it was something I've wanted to do my entire life, and I reached a point in my life that I had an opportunity. I met my buddy here, Rob, and he's a lifelong racer, and I hounded him to take me racing, and he did, and we won our first race and got hooked ever since.
I got started racing essentially the day I was born. I grew up in a racing family, always knew I wanted to be a race car driver. No matter what happened in my life, I was always dedicated to that goal, to race cars. It's sort of a drug. It's something that you sort of get addicted to, chasing that adrenaline high, and something I've done my whole life. So I started racing in high school, actually, drag racing a 1978 El Camino, business in front, party in the back. And once we moved on from that, the first race I ever won actually was in a 1977 Honda Civic hatchback in an autocross. So it's kind of cool now that that was my first racing victory, that this year I'm actually racing in the highest level of Honda racing, which is the Honda Challenge in Acura Integra. So kind of full circle for me, but there's no question about it. Racing, it's in my blood, and it's what I want to do.
The days leading up to the race were full of tension and stress, but as 0 hour approached, the team felt confident.
I think my greatest accomplishment racing was we placed third in class for a 25-hour race, and we beat some factory teams with our Nissans, and they weren't very happy with us, so that was cool.
When I was about 9 years old, my dad was in a pretty rough accident at the racetrack. He broke his back. He's been confined to a wheelchair ever since. That certainly slowed things down at Kreider Racing. So there was a time when I never thought I'd be a race car driver, but we're still going to continue to race and be successful and be winners.
Despite technical difficulties and some controversial officiating, Keith was able to scratch and claw his way back onto the podium with a third-place finish. Meanwhile, Rob got ahead early and never looked back. At the end of it all, when the checkered flag flew, Double Nickel 9 Motorsports emerged with a victory and a national championship. With the pressure lifted after winning the title, it was time for celebration with both friends and family alike. Time to celebrate bringing a championship back to the Central Valley.